Welcome back to Digital Open Days delivered by POLI.design. Now we are going to talk about strategic design with Michele Melazzini, workshop coordinator, and Anna Consolati, didactic coordinator of the master. I give to you the floor.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Nice to meet you all, for those one present and also one connected remotely. My name is Michele, and I'm part of the Committee of Strategic Design, which is a master with a long history, and I'm very proud to be part of the team, and I'm also very eager to present you the offering of this product, which is turning into his 25th edition. It has a very long history, as you can read here, a history made by a huge number of students, actually, but mostly also a huge number of countries and nationalities of the participants. And I would say this is one of the premium aspect of this master. So we had the chance to have people from all over the world working and studying with us. And you might know that this is one of the main reason to attend such a kind of master and program and didactic and learning path. But apart from that, of course, we are talking about strategic design, which is, from our personal point of view, the frontiers of the disciplines since its soul. So we speak about how it's changing the role of design, but how design can be a player in changing the world and the whole organizational system. And specifically, by nature, let's say the definition of strategic design from the Polytechnic of Milan, where we belong, and where we also are streaming today. The interpretation of the discipline is deeply in the soul of this systemic approach in creating the value. So combining and using these disciplines, considering the product, the service, and the systemic part of the offering. To do what, actually? To mostly creating a new potential market, new potential opportunity in the world, a better world for who, you might guess. So this complexity is part of the training offering that we try every year to train to our students. So adopting an approach that is able to understand the variety of the context of application, changing also the new meanings of the offering, also of the actual offering and the actual businesses, which can lead them and us generating new business ventures, of course, with a strategic design approach, with a design soul, I would say. The goals from the master is to make students and make the participants able to develop a capability of jumping from the setting of a problem, so understanding the criticalities, to then also approaching and proposing a solution to those complex problems. The complex problems are in the, let's say, soul of the design discipline since the very beginning. Why approaching a program from a design school in this sense instead of an engineering one? Because usually as designer, we have to tackle complex problems that cannot be split into different parts, probably that cannot be easily analyzed. That's why we invest a lot of time in training students in understanding the role of the problem and the complexity of the problem. We also try to develop an entrepreneurial attitude to the students, which is something that you can train, you can every day practice. And that's another point that I'm going to discuss with you today. So the practice-based learning, which is in the backbone of these masters and also on our school. We also try to make people, as I was mentioned before, to have this capability of managing the complexity, but also having the capability to generate vision, to foresee, make the others see, and also anticipate somehow what can happen to our society and within also the business context. The didactic spirit, as I was mentioning to you, leverage on a very project-based learning. We will see in the next few slides also some details on that. it's in the very soul of the program to apply everything and have a I would say lovely combination of theory and practice in all the modules and all the part of the didactic training. As an outcomes, professional outcomes, which sounds strange, you won't be an outcome, but as a result of the program, we are very happy to see every year a lot of professional becomes and cover significant job position in the world of innovation and also moreover having strategical position in the organization, or at least start to spread this approach to design and business and innovation within critical areas within the organization, and are emerging new also job position, as you might expect, that can fit with this kind of training programs, such as retail manager, product manager, strategic designer, strategic researcher. I would say that that's a lot of labeling on that. But by the way, at the end, with this program, you might have all the competencies and the capabilities to deal with this kind of specific job opportunities. Going more in depth, if you will be with us, the overview and the path, the learning path on a very macro level will be structured in the way that you can see from this graph and this slide. So mostly the first part of the master, you will have 7 months of teaching modules, which doesn't mean that you will have 7 months of frontal lecture. As we mentioned before, it's always project-based and always interactive with a lot of differences between the different modules. And I'm going to tell you something about in a while. Then the second step of between 3 and 6 months will be the moment of dedicated to the internship, at least of 500 hours, or an individual project that you will develop specifically with a dedicated mentor. And then for the final moment, you are asked to present the result of this learning path, which then will lead you to graduate and leave this graduation ceremony in February 2025. It will be part of this 25th edition. Who will carry out all this very structured path? We have a very international, but I would say with a huge disciplinary diversity faculty, as you can see from the kind of 30 faces in behind me or in front of you. They all belong part to the design disciplines or design and innovation, but also on the managerial and management, business and innovation and management school of Polytechnic of Milan. But in addition to that, you will also meet persons which are our professors that are part of the professional and practitioners that for us and for the history of the program are a very important combination of expertise in order to deliver available offering. Concerning the didactic offering, as I was mentioning to you before, now you can see in a more dedicated way, there are mainly 4 building blocks dedicated to the theoretical and disciplinary areas. The first one is empowerment and soft skill development. The second one is the management area. The third one is the one that we call the intersection area between the management and the design area, which is the 4th pillar. Let me also say that the 5th element and module that is part of our offering is dedicated to extensive and intensive workshop, which are kind of milestone of the Master in Strategic Design program in order to really grasp and apply what you will learn inside the program. Going more in depth, when we speak about empowerment and soft skills development, we want you to become a professional that is able to present and be empathetic, but be able also to express himself or herself and empower your ability. So also unleashing all the potential that you have inside This is part of soft skills, which sound not easy to be trained theoretically. That's why you will apply in practice with a lot of modules as the one that you can see and read here listed in the slide dedicated to this module. On the second one, I was talking to you before, I might miss the main pillars at the beginning, but of course, this master is a combination and overlapping of business and innovation management and design. So the module of management, what we call management area, will be purely dedicated to the aspect of on a managerial and business side, which are the one that you can read again in the list. Our aim again is to transfer you, thanks to the faculty, not only on a pure managerial side, but also always with this approach that combines the two perspectives. And you can have strategic management, project management, entrepreneurship and startup development, which as a part of the didactic learning goals, which are very overlapping with what we do in the whole master. The third area is the design area, as we mentioned. We decide, the whole faculty and the whole coordination of the master decide to deliver specific content on the design area. Design is a huge discipline, and that's why we go more for modules dedicated, which are in line to the future potential professional area that we will cover. That's why you will be on the product service system design basics, the service design, but also the history of Italian design. You will be here studying in Italy, and our culture, design culture, is a very peculiar one, and it's very, let's say, it's changed completely the way we also train strategic design. That's why it's fundamental to also give you this aspect, and you will also live, of course, and breathe inside the kind of activity. Then we have the intersection area, which is, as I was mentioning to you before, an area which contains modules that try to combine the two perspectives, managerial and design one. So you will have innovation management, strategic design, design management, and also business modeling from a design perspective. It's very important, as I was mentioning to you, the moment of intensive workshop, which will be 3 days workshop on a specific topic. What does it mean workshop? It's a project-based activity. You will work in teams. You will face specific challenges, as the one that you can see listed here. The main difference between the intensive workshop and the extensive one is that the extensive will be 3 weeks workshop. And moreover, you will be working with a company, which will usually give us a specific design challenge and strategic challenge. And you will, in team, face those specific challenges, of course, guided by mentors and professors of the faculty of the masters. This is a very important experience for the history of the master, which is the Innovation Sprint Workshop. It's a 3 weeks workshop that we developed. It's one of the extensive one. It's interesting because it's a combination of actors involved, because we developed it in partnership with the management school, Antwerp Management School, specifically in their innovation and entrepreneurship master. So what will happen is that you will be merged with the students of this master, which are studying mostly innovation and entrepreneurship from a business perspective. So what happens is that we will have a huge variety of students, challenging, specific brief given by very, I would say, valuable and company that we are proud to work with, such as the one that you can see in the list here. We had different experiences, and you will see that we try every time to articulate the workshop experience in order to give you different opportunity to cooperate with different kind of challenge, different kind of programs. So the first one this year is dedicated with the cooperation with NGO organization. Then you will have the one in between, which is more on the business side, co-organized with the Antwerp Management School in Belgium. And then the last one, which is usually more close to a physical and tangible product, of course, with a strategic approach in developing future and potential opportunities to develop. This is a nice thing because the Steelcase class will be the main room in which you will live the experience as a strategic design, master strategic design student. I was born with a cooperation with Steelcase, which is one of the pioneering company in the world of designing and providing workplace and learning spaces. And as you can maybe get from the pictures, we have also in terms of infrastructure, thanks to this cooperation, the capability to offer you a flexible and adaptive spaces, which is in line with the kind of various activity that you will live inside the long master path. This master is, since the very beginning, was born with the partnership with the POLI management, the graduate management school, and also in partnership, as I was mentioning to you before, for the specific workshop with the Antwerp management school. I hope that you already get the reason why to choose this master, since I'm speaking at least for 10 minutes. But if you need a summary of that, of course, the main point is the one that I told you at the very beginning. You have the possibility to have a very immersive learning experience made by meeting not only professionals, but people that comes really from all over the part of the world. And we experiment with you how today organizations should change, transform their offering with a design perspective. And of course, don't underestimate the potential of becoming part of the network, which will let you then to have a really bright futures with cooperation with the one that you will have on your desk during the experience. Then, these are the aspects on the content side. I would leave the floor to my colleague Anna, which is part of the soul and the history of the master, for a more concrete and specific information, which will then explain you in a very detailed way.
Thank you, Michele. Thank you, Paola, for the introduction at the beginning. I'm Anna Consolati. I'm in charge of the coordinating of the coordination of all the master activities, and specifically of running the motivational interview. So if you decided to take part of the selection process, you will meet me after the application, after sending the application documents. So briefly, in order to take part to this edition that will start in the middle of October, you have to fill out the admission form online by September 21st. If you are Italian, or if you are a foreign citizen with the qualification obtained in Italy. If you are from extra UE citizens, you have to send all the application by August 21st. You have to send to us your CV, your motivation letter, portfolio, only if you are a designer or if you are an architect. It's not mandatory, obviously, if you have a background in economics or business administration. For sure, a copy of your ID card and or passport, or a copy of your bachelor degree and university transcript. The admission required are the enrollment of the specializing master requires a bachelor of science degree or a master of science degree in engineering, in architecture, industrial design, economics, social or human science. I have to underline the fact that the number of the admitted students, the maximum number of admitted students is 35. We are almost reached the maximum number of students that we can enroll for the next batch. And the selection obviously will be made by the master commission. So you will meet me after the evaluation given by the master commission. So all the professors, some of the professors that are in our faculty. About the tuition fee and contribution, the cost of the specializing master is 14,500 euros, and it's divided in 500 euros is the Politecnico di Milano enrollment fee, and for 14,000 euro is the attendance fee. So if you have other questions or doubts, please feel free to write in the chat or if
Are coming a lot of questions, Anna. So the first is for the didactic coordinator. So for you, all over the world, which kind of nationality are composing your?
In general, the majority comes from Latin America, Europe. In the last few years, I have to say that the majority are from Europe, also from India, and also from Asia in general.
Okay. And another student is asking, what about the internship? Where they are going to have this experience?
So in general, the internship could be activated all over the world, so it's not mandatory to stay in Milan. I want to underline the fact that if you want to stay in Milan, it's quite fundamental to be able to speak in Italian, due to the fact that the client changed in the last few years and the majority are Italian. So it's not a problem in terms of working with the colleagues in the design consultancy or in the company. But the problem is the interaction, the direct interaction with the client that in this moment we notice that are more Italian and not international. For sure, with the students that are not able to speak in Italian and to interact in Italian, we have other partners in Europe, in general in Europe.
Okay.
And sorry, Paula, yes, it's not mandatory to be able to speak in Italian for the master activity, specifically for the internship. If the candidate wants to stay longer in Italy, because after the teaching activity in class, so starting from June, it's not mandatory to stay in Milan till the day of the graduation. So they can go back to their country. They want to develop an individual project work or to change country based on where they will start the internship.
Okay, thank you. Michele, can you give us an example of a workshop, intensive or extensive, that you realized?
Yes, thank you for the question. So I would start from the intensive workshop. They are specifically held in 3 days with a specific challenge developed by the curator of the workshop. So, for example, the one that we see listed, they have maybe a macro topic which is based on circular economy, for example, and then inside this macro topic there will be a very specific challenge divided in the class, and students are organized in teams, and they have in 3 days to come up to solutions that can be relevant in terms of also considering, of course, the very intensive process, but also training this approach of collapsing all the activities, design activities, and also business reflection and managerial reflection in these 3 days. All the intensive workshop has behind the scene a specific learning goal. So the tutors and the coordinator and the professor has a specific aim for that specific activities. That's completely another story for the extensive workshop, because the extensive workshop are 3 weeks workshop. And as I was mentioning before, the main difference is that we have a real company partnering with us, giving to the class a specific challenge which they are really addressing. So we will not play like fictional challenges like in the intensive one, but a real one. Students will have the chance to meet the company and to cooperate with the company during the 3 weeks. For the case of the one developed in partnership with the Antwerp Management Pool, adding complexity but also value, the whole student will participate in the first week when we will launch the challenge by the company presentation in Italy, in Milan. And usually we have 2 companies, one coming from the Italian market and the other one coming from the Belgian market. So we have two companies launching the first day in Milan. And in the first week, we run the whole activity with the different teams, which is a combination of students of the both two masters. Then we have a week in between in which everyone returns to the, let's say, headquarter or in Belgium or in Milan, and will be, let's say, a cooperation held remotely, which is something that we have also to train and be used to do it. The final week will be all together then reaching the Antwerp Management School in Antwerp. And in that specific week, at the end of the week, the student, with the support of the faculty, will present then the final project to the audience, which will be made by not only the faculty, but also the company that at the first day launch the challenges. So from the infrastructure is that. Then I don't know if they want to need maybe a
No, you also anticipated one question was about the cooperation with the Antwerp School, how was working this workshop. So you also replied to the next question. There is another question. It's about how strategic design can support the social issues.
That's a very interesting and complex question. So thank you for that. It's not the first time that I personally reflect and I personally receive this kind of question. The simple answer will be there's nothing more strategic than social impact from my point of view. So it's in the soul, I would say, of strategic design to include in every project, consider the social implication. I think nowadays we are, let me say, lucky. It's a strange word to compare to what is happening to the world, but lucky because the world is giving us and giving to the students and to the school a lot of systemic changes. So it's also in the soul of the designers to have this, feel this responsibility in front of what is happening around us. So we are including in the recent edition, I would say, a lot of aspects, applied aspects. That's why the first workshop, extensive one, is in cooperation with the NGOs, because we would love also to touch and see the application and implementation of strategic design principles toward social purpose. One of the founder of this master is Ezio Manzini, which I think is one of the most important scholar and also thinker on this side, on the social impact that design can activate. So I would say that on one side, it's in the soul of the discipline, on the theory, but then to be very practical in answering to the question, that's why we are including in a specific aspect. And we are trying to train our actual student and futures one to understand how to always consider the social implication of their choices.
Thank you, Michele. The last question before closing this session, is it possible to have an idea about the position that previous students have now, professional position or company, where they are working? Actually.
All over the world. So yeah, see, Anna, you are right. Anna has a huge, let's say, history on this product, and she always mentioned to me, "Do you remember at the 10th edition?" She remembered all the faces, all the professionals, and it's almost. But what is nice is that, as in all the professional career, they kind of change the position. We might, as expecting, citing the most premium one. So we have a student that now is working for Spotify. We have a student that now is the design director of 3M for a set of moments of his career life. Then we have a lot of students that actually are finding jobs in design consultancy or traditional consultancy that are acquiring design capabilities. Anna, do you want to add some other names?
Yeah, I have to say that there are also part of students that get back to their country to make some changes and to change their country. In fact, I remember two students from Colombia that they decided to get back to their country and found a design consultancy in order to make some changes in their own country. So also this is a typical kind of job position that our students can have after the master. Also, they are in. I remember another one that now is in Lego, and it's not simple to mapping all the changes. So, but we have more. We have a long story, and so depends also which kind of in which country we are talking about, because we have also a lot of students from India, so they founded their own business or they are part of huge company in, for example, in India.
Okay. I don't know if in the room there are some questions for the audience in presence. Otherwise, we are going to close the session. I would like to thank Michele Melazzini and Anna Consolati for this inspiring presentation. I would like to apply to your master, but maybe I am too old, so.
No, don't worry.
I invite all the students connected to ask more information on and see the website and ask to our colleagues for any other doubts. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Everyone.